right now brings up that heavy sniper and a 90-degree vertical quick scope.
Sway's world right now, and he's gonna go into what he does best.
Go right back up, and he pushes him into the zone.
Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds for a chance to receive a gift. What's up, guys? I got a couple insane highlights from this weekend's FNCS Invitational for you guys today. First off, we have Bugha hitting probably the most impressive snipe I have ever seen in the entire history of competitive Fortnite and securing an epic victory royale. And then we also got FaZe terrorizing all the pros, upping double-digit elims and making one of the most insane grappler plays I've ever seen in competitive Fortnite. These were featured on the main Fortnite stream as well, so we got sundown casting. If you do want a chance to receive a gift, all you need to do is hit that like button, turn on post notifications, and leave a comment down below. We're also getting really close to 1 million subs. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and enjoy the video, guys.
Really close to another placement point in the 50s, and then after that, it's every 40th, 30th, 20th, and then from 15 down, especially 10 down, you get some maxing as Magnolia is sitting right above him, and Danny gets some nice elim right there, and we're seeing Aspect right now. Follows Sway still in this monster. FaZe represented today here in day 2.
He's doing very well, controlling his temperament. We saw him exercise a couple disengages. I mean, you can see from the elim count in its own, he's not afraid to fight. He'll take a couple where he can. He'll perform too. He's one of the more aggressive players. He's got that ace jump in your box play. Like I said, it's the aggressive tendency, that jump in the box ramp boost. It's all these players really like to do. Because right now the RPG is going to crack open a build, and this is the perfect time to do it, right? It's when the builds are nice and weak, they're nice and fresh. He notices that as an opportunity to jump, pickaxe, swing in, and now he's into another box. Can he connect? And he is going to connect. Very risky though, because now he grabs the attention of the rest of the server. Someone's going to throw some C4. Remember, you can only have one C4. Lucky for him, his Catacombs build is still very much in play here. He will be able to bounce back. Let's see if he decides to go back for the loot, though. There's so much there laying around.
Sway still in play right now, doing really well. The mechanics and the style are all coming together. Let's see if it could be that perfect marriage for him as he's going to continue on in this server. As we're flying over and on board here with Dragon. Has a great kit right now. Has one of the miniguns, no doubt, earned from the grotto. Has a harpoon, so it will be interesting to see. Or as my friend Larry Fishberger says, harpoon gonna come into play. So Dragon doing what he does best. He does have a decent amount of builds, so let's see what happened, what he can do today. Catches someone. That's the kind of danger right there, man. When you're not sitting on even anything, your floor, your wall, the ceiling, doesn't matter. You could get edited down, right brought to the layer, and Dragon with that very cool play right there, Monster.
Definitely was a good one. And here's Sway. He's off to the races, learning from his past mistakes, his previous mistakes, rotating with the outer edge of the zone. Very nicely done. Could be utilizing a bit of a safer build, though. If he wanted to, he could be doing some 2 ramps. Let's see. He's going to need an impact elimination. He only has 130 mats. He's going for it right now in the back half of the storm. This must be such a red flag for the opponent on defense. Oh, you know he's not happy at all. Not to fall to the likes of Sway. Not right here, not right now. Clamps gets taken out, and Sway still is on a rampage here. 5 eliminations now. Placement still, the good placement points still haven't really been given out either. He's got a long way to go right now, but he's still fighting in the mid game, or fighting in the end game chaos, what I should say.
It's going to be a really nice opportunity to see what Sway can do in in-game. He has the prowess, and he's getting the hits, and he's going to looking for more elims. I mean, he's kind of riding the storm line right now. I think he may drop down to the low ground, as you can see that he's kind of heading his way to the front line. Catches someone right in his grill and gets him out of the lobby. Now it is Sway in full sway. He's vibing right now. Does get hit in the back, but not kind of worried about that. Turns around and blocks, and he has to switches up the layer a little bit to get that moment to breathe here, Monster. But Sway's putting on one of those performances to let everybody know that he is a serious contender and the rest of this Fortnite Invitational.
I'm looking at the feed. I saw Unknown go down. I saw Hogman go down. Dijon go down. So many players are falling now. Punisher just falls right there in the feed. So these are players that are making it towards the end game. Not even before top 10 though. Sway doubles back into the zone to go for 2. He catches the special right there. And those guys get taken out. Can he get another? This is 8 eliminations already. And he finds another one. That's going to be his 9th now. And he is racking up the points here.
It is ringing up really high, and he has the grappler. It is Sway's world right now, and he's going to go into what he does best, and that's free build his way to height in Monster. He has the opportunity to get a royale. 102, has to be careful right here. Picks up the siphon on the backside of the storm line. Sway, grappler in hand. Someone tries to get away with the short pad and goes all the way, but Sway with the grappler, with the play. Can he finish his 66 points? Monster, it is a top 3 situation.
This is right where he likes to be, somewhere near that high ground. As you know, he is a creative warrior with the grapplers. He decides to go back down because he can just go right back up, and he pushes them into the zone with a phenomenal finish. It's the Uzi who falls to FaZe Sway with a 13 elimination victory royale.
Woo! Oh my goodness. Zeke!
What happened? He's got
Zeke!
Sway is my hero. Sway is that guy.
He needs to stay here though and finish this fight, because I believe that agency card for the vault is in that box as well, so ever so important for all the shields needed for endgame. And right now the points so important for early, and if he doesn't finish this fight fast, it might actually be really hard. Bifo is all the way down at bottom, hiding in a very peculiar position. We'll fly away there as we have a big fight about to start. Commandment versus Tfue at Pleasant Park.
This could be monumental. Commandments. 43 points so far, and we're into around the 4th to 5th games played for most players. And he's nowhere near the pace of yesterday, but he ended on a historic 3-game in a row victory royales with 10 plus elims in 2 of those, and then 7th in the first one. This guy is on a tear, and for good reason. He's constantly playing very well in the scrims. He's constantly grinding the arena. And he's been here since the start. I mean, in World Cup, he qualified in week number 1. This fight does go a little bit. Commandment on the back foot. He only has a med kit against Tfue, who is playing very aggressively. I think trying to gain back a little bit of confidence, especially knowing that Commandment is low HP.
Well, we know that when Commandment is on the back lines, when he has to clutch, even under the worst of circumstances. If you talk about his history, I think that's what he's kind of been known for his team. Always last alive, always getting those final points, and most of the time as well, the win. Can that be the situation here against Tfue? He's done it once before, but that's always been during end games. Right now, possibly have to give up a lot of pressure and space. Tfue on the side of multiple walls, all wood, so he can track Commandment really easily within these builds. Commandment, though, just looking to find a little bit more breathing room. Try to stop every possible point of attack from Tfue, but it won't be possible. Eventually, there'll be just enough of ground claimed where he'll be backed off into a corner. But he finds a way to escape, possibly to another house. How long will this safety last? He'll have to farm right back up again. Only 5 mats for the rest of this game.
5 materials, the perfect time to escape, and Tfue was hungry for it because he knew how low HP Commandment was and clearly knew the situation a little bit more. He's lingering to see if Commandment's still going to try to make this rotate, but I think Commandment's just got to do everything he can right now to get back up into a material situation where he can take a fight, at least going forward, and maybe hopefully rotate to one of the houses further in east or west of Pleasant Park. Maybe at that brick house where he can get a little bit more than what he gets here at the dog house, which is only wood.
You'll just have to be patient, but you're right. The unfortunate part of Pleasant Park is how sticky it can be for people just waiting and staying around it. There's not much to rotate to on that left side, and once again, we see the zone going towards that place. Could it be another aquatic ending? The same one we saw last game. Right now, Nosh on his back foot all the way up in Storm, but a nice jumping side drag attack shot to wrap up that fight. We talk about unique shots. We talk about flicks. This man is the king of that playstyle.
But it wasn't quick enough, Shio. It just wasn't quick enough. He used the flopper right before he went down. So Nosh has no white health. Thankfully, there's a launch pad here from what looks like another elimination earlier on. He is going to be able to fly his way in to the center water and swim a little bit further. Meanwhile, at Risky Reels, a medkit left right on the side. Imagine if Commandment just knew that. That one little piece of information could help him so much. But back with BFO, we saw him a little bit towards the end game of the last. And he's still here. Again, 54 points off of the last one. This is FaZe ahead of him, a player who time and time again has been a solid solo performer. Did very well at DreamHack Anaheim, almost qualified for World Cup multiple weeks out of the 5 attempts. But when you get BFO behind you like that to start things off, it's going to be rough. Meanwhile, Nosh did fall.
Unfortunate for Nosh, unfortunately not making the best of calls at the right speed. Still, though, a good game to wrap up. He does leave with a few points of early and mid-game eliminations. Right now, BFO, we can kind of assume with the loadout that he has, that he survived the agency, got a little bit of loot as well from the vault. But no amount of loot will help you in this situation. You have to be able to land shots and play your position. He is on a lifeline right now, just 9 HP. Medkit's there, but has to buy 10 seconds of time.
That he does. I think Fuzzy doing the same thing inside of that zone. And he is back up to a little bit of HP. He's going to box out and box over. High ground going to be taken from Fuzzy. And he gets into zone RPG pressure, but BFO did get that med kit off, so the nice damage done from Fuzzy early is erased. The progress that he got now has to be recouped. Commandment, it's still up. He went to another house in Pleasant Park, started farming, actually went down and dipped in to get a little bit of metal. Well done from Commandment, and very resourceful, knowing his home of Pleasant Park for so long.
Right now it's a home away from home for both Fuzzy and BFO, just looking for a way to end this fight. But I think with how close and personal these guys have gotten, it's not possible. And oh no, Fuzzy, another time where he's just kind of cut from the competition a little bit just too early. He's not going to see the light of day. BFO, though, gets to move on.
And something to note is that BFO was 453rd after yesterday's day 1 with only 35 points. So far, this day is looking good. Fuzzy was in a similar situation. Not quite yet qualified, but slightly above pace in comparison to BFO. He was at 76 yesterday. So hopefully that fight does not mean too much. BFO just got another heavy snipe shot, though, onto Bluge. In the distance, speaking of heavy snipes, Tfue connects again. But look at this. We're getting another water zone Shio pretty much in the same location, but not coming from the same location. This time not as far west. And the congestion is going to be brutal, because this is just third zone, and basically the entire lobby does not want to cross the Frey Islands.
This would be a same situation, different lobby. And with the amount of people, as you said, who don't want to move over. I mean, moving too, you'll look at people who are just trying to get a different spot in the lobby. Magnolia is not going to be rocking anywhere whatsoever. Going to be stuck right now and then just taken out of the competition. And everyone else starts to calm down and look for the next target to pick on. It's a group effort for this lobby to find the next elimination.
And it feels like most of the players here are right in the same range. Tfue, again, the same type of story that I talked about for BFO and Fuzzy. Outside, looking in terms of qualification. So far, so good today. Zate right next to him in that same position. Bugha was definitely on pace to qualify. I'm curious how many points he has today, if he's already started to push his way up. Yes, 58. He should be okay, given that he was around 100th place yesterday. Zate already started off with a win. But man, is this lobby going to be difficult to do anything. If this pulls, we got 2 seconds. If this pulls across the water for 4th, and thankfully it goes on the south coast, thankfully people don't have to make the swim, but still this rotation is going to be awkward, because that is literally probably 60 to 70% of the lobby up on that north coast.
And even if there is a launch pad, we saw how overwhelmed Big 60 was on height with just about 10 people padding. Right now it seems like there's almost 40 people out of the 50 who are alive on this right side. If you're looking for beams, if you're looking for quick elims, then that's your motto and mantra, that might not be possible because you'll just be distracted and overwhelmed by the amount of people flying all at the same time. That being said, if you go in early by yourself, you might be the target of many different beams, and that happens right now with it's Bifo who gets taken out. Not sure why. He just solo padded straight away. The first person to take the bait. Who will be next? Mr. Aspect looks for a shot down below, but we hear another launch pad come straight through. This one a little bit more low-key. People starting to fly now together, and people who have the opportunity for a launch pad, Sticks, Apostles, electing not to take it and move in safely at the cost of materials.
Commandment still alive, by the way. We saw him with 0 materials after that fight with Tfue. Speedy trying to make his way in. A lot of people down on the low ground. I think everybody trying to use old builds, but at the same time, they don't know whether there's going to be sneaky players like Speedy staying still and hoping that somebody falls into his trap. He's going to start the rotation again himself. I saw Zayt go down. Falter takes out Commandment. Not Zayt, sorry. Saf go down. Zayt's still alive in this one. Falter's a name who did play with Aspect in squads as well now. And this is also kind of repeat names that we saw in the last game in terms of Aspect, in terms of BFO, so I'm wondering if Illest is somewhere lurking nearby.
And sometimes you'll see materials be the thing that gets depleted the most of when you're in these zones. Right now, Speedy, a nice block of the actual wall, has to bring it down again, but no, just turns gears on the Joey 2C, who we actually know box fights so well this time, though. Outsmarted by the creativity for Speedy. Baiting in, conditioning the enemy to thinking he wants the beast control for the wall and play behind it, but then switching gears, getting straight into the box. Now he controls a little bit of that low ground, all the pressure that Joey made, plus the new base that he did too. We see in the background, Falter, Zayt, Tfue, all beside each other, and now, when the zone reveals itself, 2 things to note. It's full water, but we're also going back to old builds.
That we are, and there's a launch pad that one player's going to be able to use. Bugha there too, Liqueur right next to it. But something to note about why people don't necessarily like to solo pad, you called it out earlier, is that this game is a lot of times about player behavior, reading the player behavior, and not cooperating, but operating with that in mind. So you don't want to solo pad because everybody will have the beams on you, and you have to wait for other players to go with you. That's why Bugha has not yet used that pad. Same with Liqueur. Big 60 on PC, who had high ground in the last game, is in this game with Sky's AR. And again, he pulls zone. Again, he has the opportunity to have the shooting gallery up on the sky.
He goes for it, but I think this time it's a little bit edited. Not too many people flying by. It's not the same feast as we saw before, but he indeed does have, I think, the best possible loadout you can in the game right now as a solo player playing endgame, especially in a water zone. It'll be a complete repeat, a run back. Looking for redemption this time. He finds Ghoul all the way over there at the bottom side. And has a possibility for a refresh, but Ball has so many materials, so much loot already. He might just bait it. That possibly might be the way.
And from 60 players down quickly to 30. In the last game, we kind of had a little bit extra time because it was not full water for a long time. But look at this. Bugha has taken height in 5th. And with 58 points, a lot of ammunition in his legendary AR, an epic pump too. This is a great spot for Bugha to operate, but the material is looking very weak. One thing that he did so well many, many times in World Cup was perform in situations just like this in the most dire circumstances with limited materials, found the impacts that he needed, found the boxes to heavy snipe in so that he could survive to see another day with just a little bit of extra materials. We'll see if he can do it here off of high ground. There's a possibility, but man, this goes so far.
So far with no help. It's all water, no connections, just player builds. Everyone has to decide the world for themselves right now. Bugha wants to take it for himself. Perfect tracking on people flying all the way around. The server develops, jumping from high ground, skyscraper to skyscraper, finding metal builds, now down to wood. The heavy sniper there, unsuspectingly, it'll be Durant actually, who was at the agency, surviving, taken out completely. Now Bugha has the drum gun. We saw him utilize it before. So hard to actually acquire and use in duos. This time now, he'll be able to operate with it solos. You know how good it is as well when you're an individual player. And he doesn't even need it. AJ, at the forefront of his pump, gets taken out immediately. And he still moves forward.
And there was a threat instantly. Recognizes that, starts the drum gun fire, and look at this, Shio, we're in 6 zone, and all of a sudden there's 5 people left. I don't know how that happened, but mostly that full water zone will do it to you. Bugha now with the drum gun, and how much time he has to work this lobby, how much time he has to hold height, and how much time he has to basically build out this tarp and find the opportunities to spray down. I don't see a way that this could be lost. Maybe if it was final zone, we'd see this grappler have a big say, although this build fight, if it goes too long, could cause Bugha to lose, and quickly.
I mean, still a tricky zone, although Bugha is the one on height. The biggest enemy so far has been the moving zone, not only dragging the whole lobby over water, but now when everyone's left on low ground up a hill, Bugha as well, not sure what to do as there's so much of a disparity in distance between him and other players. It'll be him versus 60 versus Knight for height. Zayt is there at low ground, low HP, but secluded. I think on his last wall, has to land this beam, get some damage down, but cannot protect himself close range. Knight takes him out as Bugha watches along. Now, a 4-man situation, everyone on their own in their separate realms.
And oh my goodness, there's just so many variables that you actually have to take into account when it's such good players like Knight, like Zayt, like Liqueur, all these players in the Duos Grand Finals, the most recent, and then Big 60 who showed up in the last 2 games that we watched. Now Liqueur against Knight, both in the Grand Finals. The Duos, it's going to be Knight against Liqueur. Bugha pouncing at the perfect opportunity. He's now got piece control on Liqueur, and I think he will take this as finally, no, there's still a wall holding. And he has a little bit of HP, takes another storm tick. Bugha now, 0 materials. He has to drop down to low ground. Some wood. He grabs it. That's 250 wood that he can now go forward. And there's still more materials down in the low ground because it's going all over the old water where it was, how many people fell? It was like 30 in an instant.
Yeah, everyone just raised by the zone, and now Bugha gets to get the reward for that. Lost that C, but then finally claimed Liqueur, though. Although having the advantage in position, especially on a zone doubling back on absolutely new water, the issue is going to be taking height cost him so much HP. While this 9th zone starts to close in, he will be on a ticking time clock, while Bugha looks to just kind of survive. Not sure if Liqueur has floppers, though. It'll be a quick, decisive look all the way up top. Not sure if that was a pump or a few bullets of the drum gun.
Heavy snipe.
Either way,
I think it was a heavy snipe. Because he's reloading it at the end there. I would love to see.
To find loot. We saw him have a lot of materials, but obviously can't go back to the same way it was claimed right now. Brings up that heavy sniper and a 90-degree vertical quick scope on to Liqueur up top. That was just